we do all know that Griffith was in love with Guts, right? Like, we're all on the same page. Because when I have this conversation with some people, they are like, no, that was his best friend. That was like his brother. Brother? Who was he thinking about when he was doing the do with the king's daughter? I don't know many brothers that think about each other doing the do while doing the do. I'm sorry. This is the thing. People need to understand. That was Griffith's man, okay? He was looking at Guts like, that's his man, okay? The thing is, Griffith didn't know that Guts was eavesdropping when he said, you know, I'm not looking at him as my equal type stuff, right? So Guts then was like, okay, well then I need to go off, get stronger, do this, do that, because, you know, I respect this man so much. I want to be seen as his equal. Griffith not understanding, and first of all, he was trying to mingle his way into the daughter's panties anyway, so he can get, you know, higher up the, you know, ladder. He didn't know that his man was listening. So the thing is, that's his man. He not looking at him like everybody else in his crew. He not. So then when he figured out he was leaving, he found out he was leaving, he was hurt. He was hurt. To where he goes and does something so reckless. Like in the beginning when he was talking to the king's daughter, he was very cutesy, very polite, very demure. He gon' as soon as he find out that Guts is leaving, he gonna go and just be reckless and he knew that was gonna have repercussions, and he did not care. He just basically threw his life away. So then fast forward to where, like, you know, Guts comes back, this, that, and the third, whatever the case is, and then he finds out that he's with Casca, on top of him being all small and little, and he's a shell of the man that he used to be. He's not even that, really. And then he find out that Guts and Casca get together. Honey, he was upset, let alone finding out that he was going to leave again. So the thing is, it's like he did all that other stuff, like when he just let the crew get eaten and just get turned every which way but loose by those demons and stuff. It was mainly because of Guts leaving and him being scorned that Guts left. The reason why he did what he did to Casca had nothing to even do with Casca. It was because of Guts. Okay? Did y'all not see that scene? Like, looking right into Guts' eyes while doing it. And Casca just got caught in the crossfire. Which is so sad, because I just know she felt so conflicted, because even when he was in that carriage and he had his helmet on, whatever the case is, and he was so small, and Griffith overheard them talking about, you know, Guts was going to leave, this, that, and the third, all that kind of stuff. And I forget if he says that, if they were trying to leave together, I forget. But he overheard that, and then remember when he tried to get on top of Casca and move his body a little bit? And I feel like she just felt so bad for him, because she was in love with him for so long. And now this is what he is. And so she just kind of let him do it. And it was just very weird and awkward and sad. But then for this man that she was in love with for years to do what he did, I feel like she also felt conflicted, on top of the fact that, like, she knows who this person is, but she don't know why he acting this way. And this is crazy. But like I said, all in all, y'all, I hope we're all on the same page that Griffith was in love with Guts, and that's why he did what he did. Not only to his people, but also to, you know, Casca, all that stuff. Like, bitter, straight bitter. Like, at that point, he didn't care about anybody else. He's the ultimate. He might be one of the ultimate villains. I'm not gonna lie to you, all because of a man. And also, just to clarify, just to remind you, in the manga, it did show Guts getting SA'd, okay, by an older man when he was very young, and that's when he first met Griffith. He was like, "What, you gonna try to take me or something? You get me?" But then it also shows especially in the manga, that Griffith earlier on in his life was selling his body to men, okay? So understand, like, the whole, no, they're strictly brothers, like, the theme of that, male on male relationships, or, you know, all that kind of stuff, that is in the manga. So it is not far off to be like, no, that was his man. So yeah, just to clarify. I don't think so. Griffith was selling his body to higher ups and other men willingly. Guts was raped when he was a little boy by a big grown man, and he ended up killing that man as well at a young age. He was a young boy. Even when he first dueled Griffith, he was like, "What? So what, you gonna try to take me and my behind?" You feel me? Like, because he was like, if you lose, you're gonna be mine. So automatically, I feel like if Griffith would have ever pushed the issue, because I feel like if all of this didn't happen the way it did, later on, he would have tried to push the issue with him, because he felt some way. He had feelings for Guts. It is what it is. Whether he wanted to control him, it was toxic, he had feelings for Guts. I feel like once he did that, Guts would have been like, oh nah, I don't swing that way, because Guts doesn't swing that way. And I feel like because Griffith never pushed the issue, right? It gave Guts a safe space to just be able to respect him instead. Because you got to understand, all the relationships that he's had with men, Guts had with men in his life were terrible. Think about it. The guy that took over being his father was terrible to him and used him as a weapon. And then you have that guy who raped him, and then all the other men in his life, he was fighting them. So this was like the first man who he was able to like kind of like trust, and be able to respect. And that's why he wanted to, be his equal. So if Griffith would have turned around and been like, oh, so, what you trying to do? He'd have been like, oh, so that's what this was. All right, I'm going to just see my way out. So regardless, I think this would have happened regardless if Griffith would have pressed the issue. And maybe, who knows, maybe Griffith would have understood that, and maybe he just would have been okay with, like, just having him close, and with Guts never getting with anybody and just being, like, his little person and his little weapon. And, like, because in a way he's like, well, at least he's not getting with nobody, and he's still like kind of like mine. But as soon as Guts would have got with somebody, it would have been downhill from there anyway. You feel me? So I feel like this was inevitable, but yeah, I don't think Guts goes that way. Like, you understand, he has trauma. Of course, Casca knew that Griffith loved Guts. That's why she didn't like him in the beginning. Griffith told Guts, after seeing you fight, I knew I wanted you. And then Guts was like, oh, so you want me in that way? And literally, he did not deny it. He literally just laughed and changed the subject. That's strike one. Strike two was when he was like, okay, I'm going to fight you, because I'm not just about to join your crew. I'm about to fight you, and if you win, you can have me and my ass. And he literally was just looking at him with those blue eyes like, bet. After he beat Guts, then he was like, I will have what I want. And he grabbed his fucking face. Come on. Mind you, Casca was listening to that whole conversation like, why is he going so hard for this dude? Like, what is going on? Especially when Guts was like, fine, if you beat me, you can have me and my behind. And Griffith just smiled. She was looking like, what is going on? And then don't forget, Griffith made Casca lay with Guts for 2 days just to keep him warm. He said it's a woman's job to keep a man warm so that he wouldn't die. She was pissed. Let's also not forget that time that Griffith risked his life, like when they were in the little dungeon thing with Zod, that beast thing. He risked his life for Guts. He told Casca and everybody else to go back, pull back, and she was like, what are you doing, Griffith? Like, why are you risking your life? And then later on, when Guts was asking him, he was like, why did you risk your life for me? What did Griffith do? He said, do I need a reason every time I risk my life for you? And then they did that eye contact, and the wind was blowing, and Guts got uncomfortable, and like he looked the other way. But Griffith was keeping that eye contact, honey, okay? Like, that was the moment. That was the one where it's just like, because I love you. Like, that's why he instead of saying I love you, he was just looking like... And Guts got uncomfortable. I was just like, this is so freaking obvious. I don't see how people are not seeing it at all. Mind you, this whole time, Casca's able to see all of this. And so she's getting more and more upset, feeling more and more left behind. But it's cool because I feel like when she starts kind of liking Guts is when he risked his life to allow her to go be his sword. Remember when I think Guts was up against, was it like 500 men? I don't know. It was over 100 men that he had to fight. And it was just him and Casca, and he was like, go, just run away, did that. She's like, why are you acting like this? Like, I've just been giving you hell this whole time. And he was just like, because you have somebody to return to, go and be his sword. And I think that's when she was just like, dang, like, okay, like, even though she knows that Griffith feels some way about Guts, I think that's when she realized, I don't think Guts feels that way about Griffith. Because let's be real, if Guts loved Griffith like that, and if he even for a moment saw Casca as a competitor in that way, I feel like she understood that he would have probably let her die. they were outnumbered. That was the perfect time to let it go. Let's be real. If it was Griffith in Guts' shoes in that moment, and if he was, you know how Griffith is jealous and he sees anybody as a competitor, he would have let her die. Let's be real. He would have let her die. So I think that also was the start of when Casca started to respect Guts in a different way and see him in a different light. And yeah, but because she even knew. She was like, oh, so you gonna let me go back to Griffith? Like, oh, okay. And I think also when she heard Griffith say, you know, he doesn't see these people as his equals. They have to have their own dream. And she saw that Guts got really hurt and offended by that. The fact that he had Guts go and do his dirty work literally while he's out with the princess, and it went terribly wrong. And he literally is saying, I don't see these men as my equals. They're like my little lackeys. Like, they do whatever I say. Like, fuck you mean? I know he just felt stupid. I know he just felt hurt and probably small, belittled. And he was shaking. Like, he was literally shaking. And I think that's when that idea in his mind was like, okay, bet. I'm gonna have to get the fuck up out of here, and I'm gonna have to do my own fucking thing, and this is cool. Like, you ain't gonna be little boy and me. Like, I want to be your friend. I want to be your equal. I'm thinking we friends this whole time, and not your little lackey. So, yeah, but even Casca knew. Griffith had smecks with the princess and thought about Guts the entire time. Rewatched the movie. He was angry. He wasn't blinking. He started to be really aggressive. And then afterwards, when he finished, he cradled himself in the fetal position. He was scratching his arms and he was crying, thinking about Guts. Griffith was queer, and that is okay. Selling your body does not make you queer necessarily, but Griffith was queer, and that is okay. I think he's bisexual, and that is okay. We have to stop turning a blind eye. I suggest that you watch the movies, the 3 movies. Then, if you want to, you can watch the anime. It's just going to be a recap, but read the manga after that. You don't do that with a friend. I'm sorry. On top of the fact that he threw away his whole entire dream and the future of everybody in the Band of the Hawk, all because Guts left. They already had made it. They were already about to be nobles and knights. They had already accomplished what he needed to accomplish. And the princess was already smitten by him. He had it all in the palm of his hand. He just had to be patient and wait for that next month. But then Guts left, and he was heartbroken. And he threw it all away. He didn't care what happened to him. That's why he went ahead, self-sabotaged, okay? His crew, literally the Band of the Hawks, got one night to taste what their future was going to be like. Griffith did not care about anybody other than Guts. Again, I don't know how many times I gotta say it. I feel like I gotta have a watch party with everybody, because I'm like, did we even watch the same stuff? He said Guts was the only one that could make him lose sight of his dream. The only one. Even when Guts was like, why are you risking your life for me? He was like, do I have to have a reason every time I risk my life for you? And then was looking at him like, that's what happens when you love somebody. Like, what? And you cannot tell me, oh, it was just control. It was just this. If anybody else wanted to leave, he would not have acted like that. Anybody else. You see all those people in the Band of Hawk, you think he was going hard for them just because they wanted to leave? He would have been like, all right, cool. We gonna make it with you, without you. One monkey don't stop the show, honey. And for people not understanding, Berserk does have a twisted love triangle. Casca was in love with Griffith. Griffith was in love with Guts. Guts looked at Griffith as a friend. That is why Guts left, so that he can have his own dream, so he could be respected by Griffith as a friend, because he respected Griffith. That's all there was. That's all it was. And this story is it's a great story, but it's about a twisted, a twisted love triangle. It's about trauma bonds. It's about revenge. Okay. Eventually Guts ended up falling in love with Casca. Yes, but he was not in love with her the whole entire time. So when people say it's just about a love triangle, they both were in love with Casca. Griffith was not in love with Casca. He never showed any inkling of being in love with Casca. Guts wasn't in love with Casca either. It wasn't until watch the 3rd movie. Wasn't until Casca was about to take herself out, okay? But when she realized that, again, Griffith was in love with Guts, and that's why he did all that when he left. And she was just like, it's your fault. You shouldn't have left. You knew he loved you. And he was just like, no way. Because again, he was not thinking of Griffith like that. And then she was going to fall off the cliff. And then that's when she was just like completely broken and saw that, oh, why do you always get hurt for me? You're always bleeding for me. La 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 la. And then that's when they start kissing. Okay, again, that was like Guts opening up his eyes to everybody's feelings and being like, oh, wow. Okay, so yeah, somebody in the comments was just like, yeah, Guts eventually falls in love with Casca because it was like that was his first, and you know, he let her in and all that kind of stuff. Yes, I agree. But this is all about unrequited love, y'all. Like, Griffith has unrequited love, like, with Guts, and Casca has unrequited love with Griffith because he didn't want her, and Guts didn't want Griffith in that way. But yeah, honestly, me making these videos, I'm like, we need to have a watch party or something, and I need to just analyze it. I don't know what I got to do. I don't know if I gotta take a video of the movies and just of the manga panels and like analyze it for y'all. I don't know, but it's very interesting to see how everybody's brain works and how what kind of stuff we block out when we have certain beliefs. I'm just like, it's literally plain as day. Like, it's plain as day. But because we have certain beliefs and belief systems and biases and phobias and stuff like that, and not everybody got a phobia, but I'm just saying certain people is very obvious. I'm just like, you're not able to really capture the full story, and that's very unfortunate because it's a great story. And some people are just like, well, you know, they said that they were friends. Of course, because if this was openly, like, if this story was more open about it, a lot of fans wouldn't be fans of the show because of their beliefs, because of their phobias. So you have to understand that as well. But yeah, if you can't see that Griffith was queer coded, you're missing a lot of the story. Griffith never showed any signs of being in love with Casca, and honestly, quite frankly, Guts wasn't in love with her the whole time either. Him and Casca couldn't stand each other. Really, Casca really just couldn't stand him the most because that was her competition in Griffith's eyes. But yeah, Griffith did save Casca when she was younger from before being great, which was great. And they work well together. You know, she's a great fighter, things like that. But he always kept her there, but never, ever tried to make an advance toward her. Because if that was the case and she was with him all these years, they would have been together. And he would have been trying to pursue her instead of trying to get with that princess. And let's be real, we understand he was trying to get with the princess so he could become, you know, be in the kingdom and things like that. But even when Guts left and he started to, you know, just self-sabotage and he went to go get some poom poom from that princess, he could have went to Casca. Let's be real. He could have went to Casca because she was serving herself up on a silver platter for him for years. But what did he go do? He went to that princess knowing that it was going to self-sabotage him and that he was going to be thrown in prison. He threw it all away because, again, his man left and he was pissed off and he was heartbroken and he didn't care about his dream anymore. Again, he said Guts was the only one that could make him ever forget or lose sight of his dream. And that's exactly what he did. And let's not forget, he was thinking of Guts the whole time he was doing the do with the princess too. So, yeah. Not quite. Guts did have love for Griffith, but not like that. Guts had loyalty. Guts respected Griffith, okay? Like, he did love him like a brother. Like, that was like his best friend. Like, that's the type of love Guts had for Griffith. Griffith, on the other hand, and let me just say this. I'm seeing a lot of comments talking about that's just narcissism, that's just possessiveness, that's just him being controlling, that was his prized possession, he didn't love him. Why are y'all acting like two things can't be happening at once? I see a lot of relationships out here where they love the person, but they're controlling, they're possessive. This is the thing you have to remember. When we talk about love, which is an abstract idea, okay, which is like socially constructed, we have to understand everybody has a different definition of love. There is no one truth. So somebody from a different background, okay, is going to have a different idea of love than somebody from another totally different background, right? I never said that Griffith's love was healthy, but he did love that man. It just is what it is. Did he also see him as a prized possession? Yes. Did he also want to, control him? Yes, of course. But he loved him. He was not on the same level as everybody else in the Band of the Hawk. No, not at all. Like, yes, if somebody else wanted to lead the Band of the Hawk, I'm pretty sure he would have made them duke it out too. But he wasn't gonna throw his whole entire dream away for them. Y'all have to understand him talking about, oh, guys can't even have friends anymore. They were just brothers. They were just friends. There was no love involved. Are you kidding me? He threw away his entire dream because Guts left. The entire dream that not just he was working toward, everybody in the Band of the Hawk was working toward. He threw it away. He self-sabotaged and threw it away. He did not care what happened after that. That doesn't just happen because of a friend at all. Like, you guys do realize how close he was to getting what he wanted. He was about to be with the princess. Y'all understand that? He was taking it slow. He knew that he was going to get that princess to fall in love with him. She was smitten, okay? She was smitten. So the fact that when Guts left, okay, to go achieve his own dream and have his own dream, he went and snuck into that castle and got with that princess, knowing that that was going to sabotage everything. knowing that that king wanted his daughter in the way that he wanted her. So that really got, like, it had him pissed, okay? He knew that that was going to throw away everything. He did not care that they locked him up and was torturing him like that. He threw it all away. Understand? And he didn't care what happened to the Band of the Hawk at all. That doesn't happen because of a friend. I'm sorry. And understand this, too. For those of y'all being like, no, the reason why he got with the princess is because he just needed to, you know, blow off some steam. He had Casca right there, serving herself up on a silver platter. She was in love with him for years. He did not want just any OP. He wanted to self-sabotage. He wanted to throw it all away. And he knew the only way to do that was with the princess. Okay? And again, he was thinking of Guts when he was doing the do. And what's crazy is that, okay, this is the thing. For those of y'all who are reading the manga, y'all got the full story. The anime doesn't show everything. Okay? It doesn't. So you guys got to read the whole thing, okay? Guts, unfortunately, got SA'd, okay, by a grown man when he was a little boy. He does not go that way, okay? That's just is what it is. So that's the sad part is that I feel like this would have happened anyway. Regardless if they would have just met, right? If they would have kept going, he would have got with the princess, this, that, and the third. I feel like Griffith would have made a move on Guts anyway, at some point. And then he would have been like, no, bro, I don't like you like that. Like, I see you as a best friend or as a brother. And then he would have felt rejected. And then he probably would have self-sabotaged anyway. It probably just would have involved more people because he would have been more connected. That's what I think. Because then that's when that whole thing would have, the thing on his neck would have activated, all that type of stuff, right? So sadly, I think this was going to be inevitable because, again, I think it was just about that unrequited love. But again, Griffith did not love Guts as a brother. Guts was like Griffith's like knight in shining armor, right? Like literally with that big ass sword. Like Guts was very loyal to him. Okay, he would do anything for Griffith because he respected him. He looked up to him. Like, you get me? Like, he wanted him to see him as an equal. That's why as soon as he felt he wasn't looked at as an equal and like just as a follower, he was like, nah. Like, I want him to respect me and see me in that way. And for those of y'all talking about, oh no, that's just narcissism. Oh, he didn't love him like that. No, Griffith, he trusted that man. Y'all don't understand. Griffith trusted Guts with his life. Griffith said, he's the only one that could make me forget about my dream. But yeah, again, this is why he allowed them to get sacrificed as well, because he had already given up on his dream when Guts left the first time. So that second time, when he was like, he gonna leave again for 1, for 2, you get with Casca instead of me, all right? And for 3, also understanding, like, he didn't have power over Casca either. Right? He lost his power. He thought he had power over Guts. And then he left anyway after he won him in that duel, right? And then now even just physically, he has lost power. Right? When he was all skin and bones, he's physically lost power. He cannot stop him from doing anything. All right? So he has to see him walk out his life again. He was like, F this stuff. That's when he took that carriage and he was about to, do y'all remember he was about to take himself out? That's why that relic thing got activated in the first place. You don't do that if you just only love somebody as a friend or as a bro. If your brother, okay, if your friend, because I don't understand why this is such a hard pill to swallow. If your brother said, you know what, I have to go, I will be back, but I have to go and find and have my own dream, get my own motion. I got to get my own motion. I can't just be following behind you my whole life. I will be back though. Okay? Mwah. Love you. Not like that. Okay? Why would you try to take yourself out? Why would you just shut down your whole dream? Why would you do that? Why would you self-sabotage everything? Unless you love them. This is my thing. I'm seeing in these comments that everybody thinks that love, control, possessiveness, all that is separate. It could be all wrapped into one, honey. Y'all know about toxic relationships. So again, I never said Griffith's love was healthy. It was a very toxic love. And understand, a lot of us have toxic love patterns and attachment styles and all types of stuff because that's all you know. That's all you were taught. That's all you were shown, right? So it's like, that's normal, okay? All that can exist at the same time, but he did love him, okay? Because I'm sure he probably felt some type of sense of control over other people of the Band of the Hawk. But he was not going to be crashing out like that over them. I promise you that. Because up until he met Guts, he was still going for his dream, right? I'm sure people try to come and go, But he ain't let go of that dream. Guts was the only one that can make him do that, and he even said that himself. So I don't know why it's such a hard pill to swallow. Maybe y'all need to read the manga. Maybe y'all are just watching the anime. That's what I'm chalking it up to that. Because I understand the anime only gives you so much, but the manga is the real deal. Y'all have to read the manga. But yeah. Again, Guts, he had love for Griffith, but not like that. He was not in love with him. But I'm telling y'all, it is vital to get this big detail right, because if not, it's like we're not even reading the same manga. It's like you're not even watching the same anime. If you don't understand the intentions behind why Griffith did the things that he did, if you really think they were just friends in his head, then you're missing a huge chunk of this story. And that's why I'm like, I feel sad for y'all, because it's like this story is so intricate and layered and dark and tragic, but it's like you have to understand why stuff is happening. If you just think that, why would his friend do that? What did he do to make him that mad? No, you need to understand why he did what he did. Is it justified? Absolutely not. But you need to understand the complicated and intricate feelings and emotions behind everything. That's why I go hard in this video, because I'm like, I really don't know why it's such a hard pill to swallow, but we have to understand this, because you're missing a huge part of this beautiful piece of work.